Okay, so last step, you guys have come a long way. I feel like I pushed you too hard, but we're so close. So the saucer. It's much easier to model the details of a saucer if we don't use the mirror modifier. So what we're going to do is model the whole saucer and then join it at the end. So let's center our cursor. Make sure you're in object mode. Center the cursor with Shift S, cursor to center, add a cylinder. Now before you do anything, there's this last operator window where it says add cylinder. Maybe if it was tucked down, there's a plus button down there. So we want to smooth that out more. So instead of 32 vertices, change it to 64. And good. So go into your side view. I'm just going to close that. Wireframe mode. Let's move our cylinder and kind of center it. Let's squash it on the Z. And then just scale it up and squish it on the Z again. Okay. So now, I mean, that's pretty good. So in edit mode, you can see that there's kind of this forward-facing lip. So let's grab just this face. I'm in face select mode. I'm just going to scale the bottom face. Maybe. So sometimes it's easier to grab faces when you're not in wireframe mode. So grab that top face and scale it up a bit. Okay. So we want this to like curve up, and we have this face here. I'm going to delete the top and bottom faces, and yeah. Okay, so let's select this bottom edge holding Alt. I'm going to create a new window so I can see. To close that toolbar, it's T. Turn on screencast keys. So I'm going to hit E. Let's go into wireframe mode with Z, and I'm going to do vertex select because it's easier to see where I'm scaling in. So E and then S to scale a bit. Okay. And then let's do E and Z to pull this down this next edge, and let's scale it in so it like kind of lines up with that. And then EZ to this edge and scale it in. EZ on the Z axis, scale it in with S. EZ, scale it in. And then I'm just going to do one last one just slightly down so it gives it a little bit more of a curve. I'm going to lining it up with this bubble, then EZ, and that should be good. Since I already have this ring selected, I'm going to snap my cursor because it's going to go right to the center of this ring because it's averaging all those points. So cursor to selected, and add a let's add a sphere and just scale the sphere down, and it's a squished type sphere, so like that, and select these edges and just ES to scale it in. So now we have that looking cool. You can see there's still flat shading on. We're going to not worry about that for the time being. So now let's do the top. Alt, holding Alt, select between those vertices, go into wireframe, so ES to scale it a bit, and EZ to pull it up, and EZ, pull it up, and really we don't want to go much higher, EZ to pull it up. So now instead of adding a sphere, I'm going to Shift S, cursor to selected. I'm going to add a cube and scale it down. Maybe not so much. Then scale it on the Z. So let's see how high. So we can scale it on the Z a bit more. And if we grab this, so go to face select mode, grab this edge. So in our top view, it's kind of hard to see, but it's circular and then it kind of tapers off. So I'm just going to extrude on the Y a little bit and then shrink, scale it, and pull that down, maybe pull it out. Yeah, so that's good enough. Because we were scaling, I think in object mode, if you go back to object mode, let's make sure that, because we're going to add some bevels, and right now our scale is really weird looking. So hit Control A in object mode and set our scale, and now it's set to 1. So when we bevel this, let's bevel these front edges first. So grab those and Control B, and then scroll wheel up to give it a nice bit of curvature. And then let's Alt and click this edge and these edges, and Control B, scroll wheel up, and now we have kind of a nice curve. Let's grab this edge and bevel that as well. Cool. So that's looking good. We just want, let's go into top view. I guess the top is just some circles. So let's grab this face and do circle, Shift S, cursor to selected. Let's just add, I wonder if we can just add a sphere. No, let's inset this with I, and then extrude it up and scale it in, and then do cursor to selected, and let's just add let's just add a sphere and scale it down, and then scale it on the Z, and maybe let's push it back and kind of pull it in. And maybe the last thing, this edge is pretty sharp, so let's, in edit mode, grab that edge and bevel it a bit. I'm going to hover over that sphere, hold L, hit L, link selection, and there. So now we have this enterprise model. I'm going to click this other object in object mode, hide it. So instead of cutting this object in half, we're just going to leave it like it is. But we want to select everything. In my toolbar, go to Shading UVs, Faces, Smooth. It starts looking weird. So let's add our modifier, our edge split. Okay, and if we hit N in the property, let's label this saucer. If you scroll down to item, so now we have our saucer, a lamp, a camera. Cylinder is Alt. So if you unhide it, you can see it's hidden because that I is unchecked. So Alt H unhides it. Let's click it and name it hull. So yay! If you got this far, that is phenomenal. This was actually like a pretty intermediate step. Couple things to spruce this up. Let's bevel these two edges. So I'm going to grab this, Control B, and bevel that. Scroll wheel up, and let's bevel this edge a bit. Cool. Make sure everything is set to smooth shading. So select it. The face is smooth. Cool. So you have a pretty awesome looking ship. We can do the satellite dish later, and we can add some other details later if we want, but this is phenomenal. Great job, guys.